All right, so Andrew and I are starting off our podcast today. This is our first podcast recording ever. Today is November 4th, 2018, Sunday night. Andrew and I have been playing we've been playing video games together forever. We've been playing a lot of PUBG and Call of Duty lately. And since we have the YouTube page and streaming, and Andrew's always moderating in the chat, we figured we should probably start doing some kind of video game podcast. So here we are today, starting it off for the very first time. Isn't that right?
Yeah, this is very exciting. We only talked about it for about a month, so.
Yeah, we definitely are delayed. I think we said that we were going to start this when Black Ops came out, right? The first one, like the first day.
Yeah, we're a little behind, but it's okay. We're doing it.
Yeah,
That's
better
what matters.
Yeah, better late than never. And do you want to start off talking about PUBG, or do you want to talk about video game origins first?
I guess we could do a little bit of origins, I guess, but we could also really segue really quickly into PUBG because that's always the fun part.
Yeah, I think we should do that though because a lot of people know you as Sypher 5 in the stream and on YouTube and stuff like that, and even from Xbox. So you were saying you want to talk about kind of like where we got our gamer tags. I think that's a fun thing. A lot of people ask me that on the stream too. So why don't
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why don't you start with yours first? Because I've asked you before, but I don't remember right now off the top of my head why your name is Sypher 5.
Honestly, it's a really dumb child story. It's kind of I remember actually I think I was playing the Call of Duty 3 on Xbox 360 because I didn't have an Xbox. I was a PlayStation person until Xbox 360.
Really? You didn't have the original Xbox?
I did at the end of its life.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Which is weird. Yeah. And then I remember I liked it a lot more than PlayStation just because the online play.
Yeah.
No one really had online play when it was PlayStation did, but it was garbage. You know what I mean? And Xbox was like really forward thinking with that. In Xbox Live. So I remember when Xbox 360 came out, I didn't have like a gamer tag, but it was so early on, like not a lot of people had gamer tags, and I had no idea what to make. And I had like a Xbox Silver account, if you remember those. You could play like for free on the weekends.
Yeah. I still think they do something like that, but they don't call it like that anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. And I think it was our sophomore year of high school. Xbox 360 came out, and I was playing mostly, I think I was playing Call of Duty with you and Tom, Cairo, and I was like, you guys were like, yeah, like, you gotta play online and everything, and before I played online with you guys, like, you were telling me to play online, and I went home and I made an Xbox Live name, and like, the Silver account, and I was just like, I have no idea what to call myself. I just want it to be short, and I want it to be easy. And I remember, like, for some reason, Sypher just stuck out to me. And then, of course, Sypher was taken, so I had to put a 5 at the end, which was my favorite number. And that's literally how I came up with my gamer tag. Wow. It was almost like the Post Malone rap name generator. I just literally came out with a random name, and it just stuck for now.
It's so funny, though. It's funny that, like, your favorite number is 5, because I feel like I would never know that. I don't know. Like I put 5 with like everything, but I didn't think that would be. You seem like a guy where your like lucky number would be like 21 or something like that.
No way. I mean, I have 5 on all my like emails.
Okay.
And then
don't you have 55 on one of them or something like that?
Yeah. I just like if 5 is taken, I just keep adding 5s.
You do 55.
You do just multiple 5s.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
More 5s the better. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it came about, and the 5 kind of looks like an S, so Syphers, as our friends will call it. But that's really it. And I remember I would pay like I didn't have money really, so like I would go and buy like month passes or 7-day like gold passes, I think, or whatever was $7.
Really? Yeah, they had like
I just buy monthly passes. I wouldn't have like a whole year. I'd have to go buy individual passes at like 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
and it was points, or I'd have to buy the points then redeem them.
I do remember that. Wow, that's a throwback. You have to buy the points and then redeem it for gold. Xbox Gold.
Yeah, it was really like 21,000 points or something dumb.
Wow.
And it was like you get 20,000 points on a card. It was really like kind of screwed up on Microsoft.
Yeah.
But I remember that's how I would play online. Or I'd play nights and weekends. I think it was these weekends or something like that, and that's how I'd play. Because before I played Call of Duty, I was just played like, a normal gaming, not multiplayer. Because multiplayer wasn't what it was until Xbox 360 came out, or like Halo came out.
Yeah, 100%. It's totally different now. Yeah.
Now I can't play those games. I can only play multiplayer games.
Yeah, I know. It's like the exact opposite. And for anybody listening to this after the fact, it's probably just going to be on YouTube. Maybe we'll be putting this on like SoundCloud, and eventually when we keep going, we'll keep adding platforms and stuff like that. But for anybody listening to this episode, Andrew, Cypher5, and I grew up together, but we didn't hang out as like youngsters. So I didn't know that you didn't have an Xbox at the time.
I had an Xbox I bought one used.
Yeah.
At the end of it, and no one was really like, everyone was kind of like, okay, like Halo 2 is not dying down, but it was dying down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was still very popular, but it wasn't like it was, and I didn't have an Xbox Live name just because I didn't. You know, my mom wasn't the kind of person to give me money like that. The credit card to like just buy something, so I didn't even know, and I don't even think they had the ability to buy points until Xbox 360 came out. I think it was like you had to give in a credit card number.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't really remember
that far
either.
back. I mean, we were like 15, 16 years old when Xbox 360 came out. That's like...
Yeah, well, I think it was a little less. I think we were a little younger. I think it was like, you're right.
Maybe.
Like because when we were like freshmen, sophomores, we were like 14, 15, but same thing, same difference. That's funny, man. Because when I first made, I remember getting the original Xbox and not being into Halo when it first came out. Like, I didn't like the game. I thought it was like just too like sci-fi-y, and I didn't play it. And then I remember I'm always in like California for Christmas. So then I came back, and I remember everyone was talking about Halo. So I'm like, oh, I'll try it out. And then that's when me, Tom, Kairu, Number 2 Pencil all got like so addicted to playing Halo. And then we all had the original Xbox. And what's crazy is I said this like last week on stream. We were talking about, we were so into playing Halo and into computers and like nerdy stuff that we played Halo on Xbox Live before Xbox Live was a thing. There was this service called Xbox Connect, not like the Connect now. Like it was literally like a Xbox Connect, like CONNECT, and you would go on this thing, and it was like a chat room, and you could talk to other people who like wanted to play online, and you could use your dial-up to connect your Xbox to this, like, I don't know who was running it at the time. I don't think it was backed by Microsoft, but we would go on there and play, and it was so laggy, and we would try to play against other people on the original Halo. It was nuts.
So it's almost like a Steam service. Yeah,
it was just some private company must have, just wanted to play people online, or whoever created this in person, and then we would just use it. And it was free. We definitely didn't pay money for it. We didn't have any extra money like that either. That was crazy. And what's interesting is I don't even remember when I first had to make my gamer tag. I guess it's when we created Xbox Live, right? Did you need to have a gamer tag before Xbox Live came out? I don't remember. No, I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Because now it's like all tied in with your like Xbox account, like your username and stuff like that. But I've been rocking BLiTz 5 forever because that was the name of my dog. So he's BLiTz, and my favorite number is 5. But I'm like obsessed with the number 5 because I'm just weird with numbers like that. So that was it. And the reason why I named my dog BLiTz is because there was a stupid cartoon growing up called The Road Rovers. And there was superhero dogs. And there, what's funny is when you're a child, I thought there were so many seasons of that show. And when I Googled it, there was just one season, then it got canceled. And I was like, I feel like I watched so many episodes.
It was probably like 25 episodes, though.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many episodes there were, but there was a Doberman Pinscher in the show, and his name was BLiTz. And I just thought it was such a cool dog. And so I got a Doberman Pinscher. I named him BLiTz. And then I remember asking my mom, like, I want this dog. It looks so cool. And then she like hooked me up with that dog. It's crazy. And then the gamer tag. And then, I remember, dude, I had Xbox Live like the first week it came out. I got Xbox Live. The first game on Xbox Live was Crimson Tide. It was a airplane game. Pretty sure that was the first one on Xbox Live. And I get messages to this day on Xbox, like anytime there's an anniversary, because I've had my gamer tag since the creation of Xbox Live. And I hit some like mark. It was like a 15-year anniversary recently of like Xbox Live, and I had my account for 15 years, which is crazy to think that it's like that long.
It is crazy. Don't you feel like it's a badge of honor to have a short gamer tag, like 5 letters and one number?
Yeah, I do, because there's so many people now that just have random numbers. And then I remember when you search, you could on Halo, you could search your name to see your stats. And when I used to type in BLiTz 5, even then you would see people. There was like BLiTz 55, there's BLiTz 5555, BLiTz 556. Like there's so many people like after that were trying to take like a similar number. And I'm happy that we just have like the original small names and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those actually died. Like, no one uses those accounts anymore, too. It's probably like a huge number.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's probably a ton. And I have so many people on my friends list from high school that I don't want to delete, but like they probably haven't been online in like 5 or 10 years. So I probably should just delete them off my friends list at this point.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think about that. And it's funny because you mentioned dial-up, and I was like thinking, like, you know what? I don't think I had Xbox Live because I had dial-up until like Xbox 360 came out.
Yeah.
So I remember was like convincing my parents, like, hey, we like gotta get faster internet. This is like crazy. We were using dial-up because you could not play Xbox Live on dial-up internet. It didn't make sense. So I remember when we got DSL, that's I think when I really was like, okay, like I can make a gamer tag now and play online. Because I remember playing like Command and Conquer Online or Red Alert, and it was like I'd build something online and like a minute later it'd show up. Lag was like so real, and that game was like the least, like intense on the internet. So
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because really I remember me and Kyra Tom being the same way. Like we asked our parents to like upgrade to DSL in our town. That must have been like the only high speed provider at the time. It was Verizon.
Probably.
And like it was because of Xbox Live. How crazy is that? That like pushed us to like want Xbox Live.
Dude, Verizon should thank Microsoft for that one, because they definitely, dude, I mean, like people still look for like Verizon internet, but they definitely, probably spiked the internet usage all over the planet, or at least where Verizon is.
Yeah, I even remember my internet went down for like a week, and the Verizon like was coming out to fix it, but back then like there was no rush on it. Now like people would come fix it immediately, but back then they're like, yeah, we'll be there like in a couple days or in a week, and I like freaked out, and I like moved into Tom's house and like set up my Xbox so we could play Xbox Live together because I was so mad that like we couldn't play for a week. And, I mean, he lived really close by, but.
Yeah,
still.
But it was so regular that would happen. The internet, I remember, would go down and like you'd have no internet for a week.
Yeah,
it was like so bogus.
Totally. Now that would be like people would freak out. Well, then again, your phone always has internet, but yeah, if your like Wi-Fi goes out for like 5 seconds, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. No one's paying my hotspot bill on my phone. I have Comcast. They're not paying my Verizon bill for my hotspot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Download rate.
Yeah, it is crazy. But there you go. There you have it. That's where we got our name from. And then unfortunately, number 2 pencil has been, well, this isn't unfortunate. He's been number 2 pencil forever. And Tom Kairu, who you see BZ Tommy also in the stream, he's changed his username from, he had another username before that. So I feel like
Kairu V2, right?
Well, he was Silent Sniper, then like Kairu, then Kairu V2, and now he's Kairu the Great. So like he's switched around his username a lot over the past like 10 years. So it's like not
not the same.
It's not the same.
It lost its originality.
Yeah, you lose kind of that the reputation you have when you change your name. I think you got to keep it the same.
No, yeah, it's not even hard to do. It's just hard to have it consistent across all platforms now.
Yeah, exactly. And even Box of Ducks, he said that his username has been Box of Ducks forever, but I thought it was something else. But he said it's pretty much been Box of Ducks the whole time.
I think he just makes other accounts because he keeps getting kicked.
Yeah,
kicked out,
true.
Or banned or
that's true. That's true.
So I think that's like normal. I mean, it's just not worth changing a gamer tag.
No.
I think you have to pay for it, don't you?
Yeah, I think you always have to pay for it, but I think at one point they're giving you like one free change, but I don't know if that's. I think you still have to pay like $10 for it. That used to be the price, $5 or $10 to change it.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But anyways, I guess we can move on to PUBG or Call of Duty unless you have anything else on.
No, I think that was a good quick trip down
memory lane. Yeah.
It's kind of weird to think about. It's so long ago now. I just remember the original Call of Duty and just like no attachments. You picked a class and then all of a sudden you were like playing like World War II.
Yeah.
That's actually, I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, dude, that's such a good transition though too, because same thing with Xbox Live. I just said it was like a 15-year, 16-year anniversary. The Call of Duty had a big thing this year because it's been 15 years of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. And every year they've come out with the Call of Duty, except for I think 1 year they skipped a year, like back in the very beginning.
It was probably from 3 to 4 or whatever.
Something like that. It was 1 to 2 or 3 to 4. You're right. It was one of those years. I'm pretty sure they skipped one. And then other than that, there's been a Call of Duty like every single year.
Was it Call of Duty 3 was the one that launched with Xbox One and I mean Xbox 360 and then Modern Warfare 4 or not more. Just Modern Warfare came out, I think, 2 years after that, and I think that's when it kind of like sparked.
Is it? I guess because we are on the internet, I should check this because I don't know 100%. But I'm like I'm pretty sure that one of them skipped a year. I'm gonna Wikipedia it right now just so I fact check myself. We need
make yourself feel better.
Yeah,
but I remember it. Yeah,
No,
Was
it was the first one. I thought you were right. I thought it was 3-4, but it was the first Call of Duty was in 2003, and this is crazy. This actually doesn't serve my memory right, because they're saying the first Call of Duty was on 360, and I didn't think it was. I thought that was on the older one.
But wasn't it?
This is
Call
saying
of Duty 3 was on 360. I thought was the first one.
They went. This is crazy. This is saying all the way until. It's saying 2003 Call of Duty Xbox 360, and then they went on 360 all the way until Black Ops 3 was the last one they made on 360. Isn't that crazy? So Call of Duty, you're right. Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty World at War. I remember all those on 360. And then what was the one where they switched over to Xbox One? Oh yeah, I mean Black Ops, all of those. I feel like the first one on Xbox One was Black Ops 2 or. No, it must have been Ghost or Advanced Warfare was the first one on Xbox One, because didn't Xbox One come out in 2003? Xbox One released it.
Xbox One is Xbox One was 2013.
2013.
Xbox, the original Xbox I think was like 2003.
Well, no, Xbox 360 looks like it must have came out in 2003. Xbox 360 release date. Is that true though? Was Xbox 360 around for 10 years?
No, I thought it was 2006.
Let's see. 2005. Okay, so you're right. Wow. It was 2005. Oh, so this is weird. Then this thing is wrong, because why is Wikipedia saying it was out?
Can't trust Wikipedia.
I think they're just saying that it eventually came out for 360, but this is okay. So the original Call of Duty was out on Xbox One. I mean, on the original Xbox. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that makes more sense, because I remember playing at GameStop Xbox 360 Call of Duty 3.
Yeah,
I remember it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, these graphics are sick." And now, if you looked at them, they look like claymation.
Yeah. So there you have it. So yeah, every year, except for the first 1 to 2, they skipped a year, and which is crazy, because I remember the first one I didn't like. I didn't like the first Call of Duty. I don't really remember playing it too much. I just remember that I didn't play it for long and I didn't really like it. I remember the controls or something. I didn't like it at the time, at least when I was young. And then after that, I mean, it really picked up after Call of Duty 3 for sure. Like after that game, I feel like the series really picked up. And then obviously Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, people still view that as like the best Call of Duty. I don't, but a lot of hardcore fans like Call of Duty 4.
I just think it's a pivotal point. I think it was like the pivotal point, because it was just like the first game where they made it. It was super competitive. It was faster paced. You could create your own classes, make attachments. There's customizing.
Yeah.
It was such a change.
The kill streaks were really big in that. I think like that was when you just had
didn't have any of that.
I think it was just like 357 kill streaks, and that was it in that game or something like that.
Call of Duty 3 and then Modern Warfare, is like Call of Duty 4 was such a huge difference in game.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they were completely different. I remember there was like War Mode in Call of Duty 3, and that was gone in Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare made like the arcadey shooter when like the game was kind of more like military style, like World War II. Yeah, it was kind of I don't know how to describe it. It went to like more of an arcade game, which became like so popular, fast paced. You're right. That was a good way to say it.
Yeah, I just think that someone came in and was like, listen, like, we need to do something different here, because this game is good. We have potential. We have a ton of money. Like, let's make something that's going to be big. And then they did, and that really changed it for them. I just remember playing Modern Warfare, and you can only put like one attachment on a gun. It was so stupid. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why can you only put one attachment on a gun? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. And what's interesting here, when I look at the developers here all the way back, Infinity Ward made the first one and the second one, and that's probably why, because they were working on it and they couldn't get another game out 1 year later. And then right there, Call of Duty 3 started where they switched off between Infinity Ward and Treyarch every year. So I didn't know it started that far back, that they swapped years. Yeah, I thought that was more of like a thing when we were in college. They were switching off back in like 2011 and 12 and stuff. But it looks like they did that all the way since Call of Duty 3. So that's how they've continued to make the game every single year, which is crazy.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. Yeah. I guess, I mean, they bought out Treyarch at some point, I guess, and they were like, okay, let's do this every year.
Yeah, which is also a good transition to, this is kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but like I was thinking about this, because every single year thing is, what are they going to do with Blackout? Because is it going to come out? Is it just going to be dead after the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, it's like a really, probably everyone's asking that question. And I think that's the reason why it just won't be able to usurp Fortnite or PUBG. I think that there's not gonna be enough dedication to that game unless people, they dedicate to it. But then, I mean, it's impossible to say, because then even if they do continuously release content for it up until 3 years from now when Treyarch is next up to release their game, people will just buy the next Call of Duty and move on. Like, I think that there's still a lot of people that play Blackout, like, or Black Ops 3, but there's just not as many, and I don't know if it's going to, like, I don't think that Blackout has the stickiness to keep people staying on there, because they don't really want you to either. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to want you to. They want you to buy the next game. Yeah. So I think they kind of put themselves in a weird position with that. They almost should have just made a separate game.
Yeah, and what's annoying is what's so great about games like PUBG and Fortnite and even League of Legends, any game that's just one game, or even Hearthstone. I know you don't like Hearthstone, I don't play it, but those games that are just one game, like, it's just, even though I hate Hearthstone now, I don't hate it, but I don't like playing it. If I ever chose to play Hearthstone again, when I log in, all my stuff is there. Or like if you play Fortnite a year from now, like, any character you unlocked is still there. So like, to spend all this time in Blackout, to, like, if you just grind Blackout to get all these characters, and then next year, whatever the next Call of Duty is, say they do Modern Warfare 4, and then they do a battle royale for that, and none of your stuff transfers over in the Modern Warfare 4 battle royale, like, that would be such a waste of, like, all your progression. I feel like that would be pretty annoying to do that.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, are they going to treat Blackout like zombies? You know what I mean? Is it going to be treated in the same way? Are they going to do something different and be like, you know what, maybe we should just keep this, and then when the next game comes out, it's actually going to add content to this, and it's going to just carry forward. But at the same time, like, they've made it pretty customized to Blackout or Black Ops 4. It's a Black Ops 4 characters, it's guns, it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's kind of hard to say what they want to do unless they just say, you know what, we can mix and match guns, we can do all these different things, we can mix and match characters, because in reality, it doesn't matter. It's a made-up landscape. But it's really kind of hard to say what they'll do. I don't know if they set themselves up for that kind of success or that kind of, like, longevity of it. Yeah. I think they just might treat it like zombies and be like, all right, you got all this cool stuff, and now here's the next one. Yeah. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I guess so. I wish there was just some way to kind of, like, connect your progression over. Then Call of Duty never really did that. They never really connected your, like, accounts over from one to another. I mean, they track all your stats. Like, they have all your previous stats. That's how they did that legacy video this year that I showed you. But, like, they never did a thing where, like, I don't know. I feel like your character should almost, like, evolve into each game or something like that, or you should get, like, some kind of credit for playing it, because it just feels like it all goes away and it's kind of pointless. And I'm feeling that right now, man. with Call of Duty. Like, I love the game, it's so much fun, but I'm just like, where is it? This is all gonna, like, disappear after we stop playing Black Ops 4. And I almost just wish they would just stop and say, like, call this one, they should have just called this one, like, Black Ops Infinite or something, or Black Ops something else, and then just made it, like, stopped here and just made it, like, PUBG style. I don't know. It's like,
I mean, they could just do that. I don't see why they make it so difficult that they just do, almost like how they do programs. Like, there's, like, the 0.1.0, and then, like, next year it could be the 0.2, and then in 3 years you could do the full 1.00. You know what I mean? Like, just build on top of it, and then, like, after a while you can just completely overhaul the game. I think that would be better, and they could just sell the content cheaper every year. But I think that it's harder, or not even cheaper. They just say, hey, $15 for this thing, or like PUBG does with their, you do $10 for, the challenge, event pass and stuff like that. Yeah. So, like, there's no reason they can't do that. Like, they have $10 quarterly event passes. You're making, nearly as much money. You're probably spending a lot less money on development. You're not really changing a ton of stuff. Like, you're just building on the backbone of something that's already there. And then when you're kind of like, all right, we've kind of milked this one dry, like, let's just do overhaul it and make something new. Like, then you can really kind of dump into it and then charge $60 and then do your $10 a quarter type of thing.
I just think they've locked themselves into this, like, release cycle. And then also, like, how do you pick what Call of Duty gets to stay the one forever? Like, is it a World War II Call of Duty? Is it, like, modern warfare? Black Ops is, like, now futuristic, but the first Black Ops was like a 70s 80s kind of thing. You remember that? Like, it was Vietnam, like, era warfare with some, like, futuristic hints in there, but not until, like, the later Black Ops. So it's like, it is kind of interesting what they're gonna do there. But all in all, I mean, the game is a good game, though. It's definitely a good
It's a really fun game. 100% a fun game. I mean, I'm not in love with multiplayer anymore. I think my opinion is going more towards like battle royale. But
Really? Yeah. You think so?
yeah, I don't know. I just think that multiplayer is fun. It's a good way to get in a couple games. But battle royale, man, I think that it's just way more intense. It's way more thought provoking in my like for me. I don't think that like multiplayer is too. It's hard to say. I think it's just in my opinion.
No, I know what you're saying. I think like if you're playing against like a competitive team in multiplayer and you're playing if you're playing with a full team against a full team and everyone's really good and you're communicating, it's provoking because you're like thinking about what to do and how to take down the enemy team. But in a random match of Call of Duty, or if you're playing with random people, it's so mindless. Like you feel like you're just like today I was playing and I was having a lot of fun, but then after like an hour I felt like I was just running towards the domination flag or the hardpoint thing, and like it was the same thing over and over again. And it's so fun because it's so fast paced, but like we've been doing it for 15 years now, so it's like
yeah,
it's like I don't know, you know. And then a lot of times what keeps me entertained is using a fun setup, like something unorthodox, like tomahawking or using like a really bad gun. But in this game, because everybody's like trying super hard and Call of Duty's still like that, and the specialist abilities, it's really hard to like do something that's unorthodox. Like I was trying to run around with a sniper rifle, I was trying to run around with the shotgun and tomahawk and all that stuff today. And I was like, oh, it's kind of hard. You can still have good games. I had good games with just using the Mozu pistol. It's like that revolver. It's really strong, but even then, it's like,
it's not how Call of Duty used to be. Also, where people would just be running around with like dual pistols. I mean, then again, I was killed by a guy running around with those two SMGs. But...
No, the two SMG pistol things are really strong right now.
It was ridiculous how fast he could reload too.
Yeah. They
I want to see someone reload two guns with two hands at the same time.
Instantly.
Yeah, instantly. Like just spin guns around and they reload.
Yeah, it's so true. And then the night before, I was playing Heist, and that was fun. At first, I was kind of bummed that we were playing Heist, but then it was so different that it kept me engaged for a pretty long time, actually.
Yeah, I think that's it's a fun game type too. I just think, I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. When it's intense and everyone's communicating and you're really trying to win and you're with a group of people, it's definitely a lot of fun. But if you're playing with two people, it's kind of like it loses a lot of fun because it's like, you know, you're still playing with three random people. Their motivation isn't the same as yours. And I think that's just the difference there. But when you're playing like, you know, for keeps, and I think like the last time I played like that was probably Black Ops 2, sorry. And that was like so long ago, but that's like I remember playing games and them being super intense because everyone was really into it. And then there's also Black Ops 2 introduced. Remember the COD casting and you know all the 3v3 and like series and everything where you could play like the ranked matches and stuff like that. That was like really intense.
Yeah, it was.
That made it fun.
Yeah.
So they made like, and then like they kind of lost that the next game, and they kind of went in that downturn for a while. And I think like now this is like more of a pivoting game, and they're kind of coming back and maybe making some changes. But yeah, just I don't know. I mean, like you said, we played it for 15 years. When you think about it, like it's not like just one. And all Call of Duties are somewhat pretty much the same game.
Yeah. The core at the end of the day is like the same.
Yeah,
thing.
so that's definitely where you could get tired of it. And I think that Battle Royale is super new, just across the board. It's interesting. I mean, in 10 years, we could be saying the same thing about that. So it's like hard to say.
Yeah. I love Battle Royale, man, but this thing that just gets me still. And what's funny is I used to feel this way about PUBG, so maybe it's just the beginning thing. But the constant like one life thing can get frustrating after a while. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
When you're just drop in and like
you die. And
you die immediately and your friends are still alive, and like even if you're a good player, like something so stupid can happen to you, you know? That happens all the time. Like, you know, even in multiplayer, you're doing really well, you're playing a really bad team. Let's say you're like about to go for a nuke, and then like you have 24 kills, and then some like really bad person just like spawns behind you and kills you. Like it happens, you know. And in Blackout, it's just so punishing. And same thing in PUBG, but now I feel like we played so much PUBG that we know how to handle those situations a lot better. But it still happens a lot less. Too.
Yeah, and I think it's a question of like playing. If we played a lot of Blackout, we would probably learn those things too. It's also like the looting system's really bad sometimes, so they're trying to pick up guns really fast, and you're like, you feel the pressure. Like that's the one thing that's fun about it, is like as soon as you hit the ground, and if there's people, it's like a hot drop. You're like, there's so much pressure right now to pick up a gun and like load it, and like make the right moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't die, and then like keep a teammate alive, because like having 3 people instead of the 4, instead of your 4th person, without your 4th person, like it makes it way harder to win. As soon as you lose that 4th person, you're like, all right, now we have 3. You know what I mean? You just lose a whole body, and like it makes it weird. So you have to like scramble, and that's what's fun about that, and also what's frustrating at the same time. It's just the one life thing is definitely harder, but I think that's the whole point, because like you kind of almost value that life a little bit more, because you're like, I don't want to be the one watching this whole time, or you know what I mean, like it sucks.
Yeah, I know totally. I just feel like maybe like they need to make your health when you're knocked a little bit more in Call of Duty, or I don't know. I guess they shouldn't change it, but I feel like in PUBG when you're knocked, like you have a better chance of getting picked up than in Call of Duty. But maybe I'm wrong about that. It could just be like I don't have any actual data to show how much health you have and how many shots you take. But I know it always seems like you can kill people pretty fast. When in PUBG, sometimes it's almost ridiculous how long it takes to kill somebody that's like knocked. Sometimes it's almost too much. Like if you snipe someone in PUBG and they're knocked, and then you snipe them again, it doesn't kill them. So
yeah,
but in Call of Duty, I think it does. Yeah, they almost take more bullets knocking. In Call of Duty, it's definitely not more than the original knocking.
No, yeah, I think it's in some of the snipers in Call of Duty, like, or most of them, any of the 50 cal ones, you put someone down in one shot. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like at least in PUBG, it's like frustrating at times when you snipe someone. You're like, I thought I hit him in the head, you didn't knock him, but like at least it's like when you're the person receiving that bullet and you have like a hair of health, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, your helmet's blown off, you just have like a bullet hole in your head. Yeah, I mean, I get it from both sides. I mean, I think like Call of Duty is still trying to keep the fast pace of it, but at the same time, it's like it is kind of frustrating. Definitely different game styles. I kind of just like think they're Call of Duty went for like, hey, let's do a happy medium of PUBG and Fortnite and see what we get.
Yeah, and they definitely did a good job of that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a fun thing, and I kind of wish I played it more, but it's so hard to play so many games, especially because when you are thinking about Battle Royale games, they're long games. Even Blackout is a long game, and it's fast.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's a pretty big time commitment. It's so true.
That's the nice thing about playing Call of Duty multiplayer is that it's like, oh, you want to play a quick hour, it's easy. You know what I mean? Like when I play get on PUBG, it's like, this is a commitment right now. You know what I mean? Like I have to sit down for 3 games is an hour and a half. It could be.
Yeah, it could easily be.
Yeah.
Which is nice though with Sanhok, because the smallest map in PUBG, it is pretty quick, and it'd be nice to see some community events for Black Ops. I would really like to see some cool things happen, like maybe they make an event where the circle moves really fast, and then they could kind of see how that goes, and that might actually tweak like the future of Blackout, because I feel like that would make the game really intense if it was a lot faster, the circle moved a lot faster, and all that stuff.
No, yeah, I think it would. I hope they do events for it. I think it would be a waste of them to create this whole map and all this stuff, and then just not really put much effort towards it. But I mean, like, David Von der Haar has said like they're going to put more into it. They're going to put they're going to put resources in it. I think they have to. I think it's like probably just as popular as for streaming as multiplayer is right now. So it's like, what seems like, and people, I can't watch playing multiplayer. I could watch it for a little bit, but like for whatever reason, I can watch, battle royale games. I don't know why. I never watched video games ever until January or something, or maybe March, April. I would watch them every now and then, and now like I pretty much I watch you every day, or I listen to it, and like because it's just different. What's going on. Like I can jump in any moment in the game, and I'm like, oh, like he's there's this many people left. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's got that gun.
Yeah, that's actually such a good point, because you can hop in and like within 5 seconds determine like pretty much what's going on. Like, oh, there's 22 people left. I know, and he's on this map. Like I know exactly what's happening here. He has this gun. Like, you're already in the game. Like you already understand what's happening. But like in multiplayer, you tune in and there's just like you don't even know if he's in the same match. If you tuned in 5 minutes ago, you have no idea. Like unless you know they're on the same, if they're on a different map or not. But like it's very quick to identify what's going on in Battle Royale, which is nice.
You don't know. Like it's like you don't know if they won. Like it's hard to say.
Yeah.
You don't even know how many people they've killed, and that's like pretty much the main point of multiplayer is like how many kills you're getting, how many points you have. You kind of have to like see when they look. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, okay, they got this many kills, they got this many points, or whatever. And now with Blackout or Black Ops 4 multiplayer, you don't really see that as easy. Like I don't even when I look at my select menu, I'm like, wait, how many kills do I have? And then I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm surprised when we like the game ends and it goes like through the menus. I'm like, oh, I had this many kills. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
so I had like half that, or I had more.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because it doesn't show you unless you like highlight over the character when you're playing on a objective match, because they want to kind of eliminate that. But yeah,
which I get.
Yeah, which makes sense. But people still care about that a lot. It's kind of crazy how much people care about like their KD still. But yeah, and what's good about Battle Royale is that like it is great for streaming because there's so much downtime and you can talk, and there is like a narrative to every story, which is like really nice. It's like a little movie that you're watching, you know, like someone survive on the island. You like come check on them, like how you're surviving out there. You're like, you let them know.
Yeah, it's a completely. I mean, it's such a weird like feeling of a game too, because it's just so stressful the entire time. Like if you're really trying to play it, and like, or I think it's the most stressful is like when you're in squads and then like you're the last alive. I just feel so much pressure.
Yeah, and you know everybody's watching you, spectating. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, like I have to do well. I don't want to do something stupid in front of them, but meanwhile they're dead anyway. So it's kind of like, oh, like you guys are dead. Like I'm the last alive. But
yeah, true.
I think
it's a good point.
It's just like one of those. It's just they're just pressure-filled games, and I think that's what I like about it. It's almost like one of those things. Like I used to be able to not play video games. I'd play video games and then I couldn't go right to bed after, and then that kind of ended. And now I'm back in that situation where like I can't play PUBG and then go right to bed. I have to like go watch a show for like 20-30 minutes and then I can go to sleep, because I'm like, okay, I need to like unwind a little bit.
Same way, man.
Because my brain is just like, holy shit, which is a good feeling. You know what I mean? To kind of have that back, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it makes the games mean more, because a lot of times, like I said, like we've like today and last night, dude, we played so many games of Call of Duty, and I think I lost one game, and at one point, like I was literally just like, we were just beasting on kids so bad that I was just like running forward into like the wall, and I was like, I could just like fall asleep right now. There's like no point in like playing. But when you're playing a Battle Royale, you're so alert the whole time, and like everyone's engaged. Even if you're not a good player, you can like help strategically, you know, which is really nice. Like even if you're playing with something that's not that good, like there's so much strategy involved, like how you're gonna move, like finding weapons and looting. There's so much to the game that I feel like anybody can kind of like get involved in it, which is really fun.
Yeah. And you were playing Call of Duty. I was playing PUBG last night. We were like, I think we played like so many games because we were just doing so bad, and it was just so frustrating. But like for some reason, we were so frustrated. Actually, I was playing with Day. Shout out to Day. And we were just getting so frustrated. I'm like, dude, I can't get kills. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know, such funny stuff happens. Like we jumped at the end because one of our teammates got kicked from the game, and like we landed with like 20 AFK people, and it was just hilarious. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like the next game after that, we started like playing like really well, and like we weren't winning, but it was just like it gets to the point where like we were so frustrated we were doing bad and not getting kills that we were like, okay, like we have to prove to ourselves that we can do this, you know. And the games are long and it's tedious and it's like frustrating, but that's like makes it kind of more fun because you're like, okay, like let's get back in. You're like, this game's such crap sometimes, like this is frustrating, like, and like, but you still feel like this needs you to get back into the game and like at least get further, you know what I mean? Like get it, like try to go for a chicken dinner. And like last night we got one chicken dinner and our entire squad had 2 kills. It was just so funny. It was like pathetic.
Yeah, they so told pathetic. Me. He came in and messaged me about it. It was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty pathetic. And like it was the funniest thing in the world. Like, but like you're so involved. Like the one guy on our team was just driving a motorcycle around, and I was getting so frustrated. I was like, dude, like I don't know about you, but we've been playing this map for about 30 minutes. So like I don't want to die because you're driving a motorcycle around and I can't hear what's going on, or you know what I mean? I'm like can't pay attention.
Yeah, it's fine if you're messing around, if you've been playing for a while and you're messing around in the first couple minutes of the match, and it is what it is. And if you die, someone pick you up. But like at the end, it's such a like it sucks to mess around like that and waste time.
Oh, dude, I get so, and I like felt bad. I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to get mad at you, but I was like, dude, like I have, like I mean, like once I'm in that game and like we're getting in the circle and we're getting towards the end, like I'm committed. Like I don't care what, you know, what guns we have, like what you don't have. At that point, like I'll give you what I can, you know what I mean? You start kind of like, okay, like what do you need? We'll give you this, I'll drop you this. And then it's like, okay, like it doesn't matter anymore. Like you don't need certain things, you don't need a scope, you don't need this, you just need to like be like, you know, nut up and get ready to play like the last circles. Because it's just like for like 20 minutes we didn't do anything. We just looted and ran around. So it's like, this is the time to like gear up and like play.
Yeah.
So it's like, why waste 20 minutes of your life to kill yourself in the minute of action?
Yeah, realistically, I mean, you can all say they all have different stages to the game, but the traditional like shooter aspect of the game is going to happen pretty much no matter what. Not every game, but at the end of the game. So like that's what you are trying to play the game for. I mean, looting and stuff can be fun. Sometimes it gets annoying, but yeah, I know what you're saying. That's like the end game.
You're really just preparing for war. Like, you know what I mean? The whole time you're like, okay, we got to get this and strategic, and like the times that you do the best is the times typically you run into the least amount of people because you're using less resources. So it's like being strategic, and then when you get to the end, you can like unload and like use all those things you found.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like,
or unless you kill like you kill a squad and like you get that like has insane stuff, and then you get like incredible loot. Yeah, I see. Yeah, either way,
which is the best.
Yeah.
Which is like the best case situation.
Yeah.
And, but like, I always feel like I'll get like a silencer and all these great things, and then I never even get to like shoot it at somebody. I get like run over by a car as I'm like crossing a road.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just like, you're like, what the.
That was happening to me like every time I got the
frustrating.
AWM. Like still to this day, I really haven't got to use that gun that much. Every time I get the AWM, like something ridiculous happens to me, and I'm like,
I honestly think it's bad luck. That's why I don't even go for crates. I'm like, I'm gonna get the thing out of that crate and not even get to fire it.
Yeah.
I'll fire it like 2 times or get killed by some guy laying in a bush or someone run up behind us. You know what I mean? You're like, wow. I just think they're bad luck. They're like bad juju for me. I'm just like, don't even. Like, that's why everyone's like, go for the crate. I'm just like, nah, I don't really care, because it's like, how many times have we seen someone that's like won the game with something in the crate? And I mean, it's like a handful of times. Maybe 6 or 7 times I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's always the MK249 too, the heavy machine gun.
So true.
Because like, you don't need the AWM in the final circle. Like, what are you doing with the AWM? You might kill like one person with that gun. Like, and that has to be the average kill for everyone.
Yeah, for the average person. I think I agree with you 100%. But there's probably some. I know there's people out there who are like insane with an AWM. I'm sure they're like quick scoping in PUBG. But for me and you and for the average person, yeah, usually you don't see someone winning with those guns, and you see someone winning with the M249 for sure. That's like the best chance you have usually. It's got a huge clip. You can just spray and pray.
Yeah. You just don't have to reload, and you like obviously you'll outfire everybody. Like, it fires so fast in PUBG that it like lags out.
Yeah. What's interesting is I feel like the strategy of like PUBG is changed. I know we're kind of switching between Call of Duty now. We're on to PUBG.
Yeah.
But since we're rolling with it, no, it's cool. I'm just for anybody listening, and I mean there's crates in Call of Duty too, so it's kind of applicable. But forever it seemed like in PUBG, if you went for a crate, like everybody was going for one. And on Sanhok, I don't know if it's because the Sanhok is so dense, and sometimes people miss it because of the trees. But lately, we've been like running up to like crates that aren't even smoking anymore, which means they've been on the ground for a little while, and like there's stuff in them. And I just find it kind of crazy that it's almost like, I don't know if less people are going for the crates because they don't want to die, or if people aren't seeing them, but it's almost like this weird thing, because this happened like the last 3 or 4 crates I got, we've had no issues getting them, which I was pretty surprised about. I don't know if it's like
I mean, I feel like that maybe a little bit too. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. We had crates fall like where we landed, like we looked out how it was the last couple of games. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Last night.
Yeah, were you in that game on Miramar where we were on the top of the hill and we died? I think it was me, you, Day, and Dan, right? And we were on the very top of the hill on Miramar. Were you in that match? The other night. Yeah, like a couple nights ago.
Days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we came in like 2nd or 3rd place on the very top of the mountain.
Yeah. I remember exactly. Yeah.
And I remember there had been like a care package that dropped in, like it was kind of in the middle of a valley, and I thought like Day was just gonna get killed going for it, and nobody was even there. I was shocked.
Oh yeah, he just like drove over in the car. He picked everything up and like drove back.
He drove over in the muscle car, the loudest car in the game. It dropped like in a valley, and that one shot came through. I was like, if this was PUBG like 2 months ago, like people would have been flying here in helicopters to like to get
you just be getting shot from everyone. Like, they don't care. Yeah. I feel like I always look at crates now. Yeah, you rarely see someone go for it. I don't know what happened on the backbone of people.
Yeah, it could. It's just.
I mean, I don't go for it.
I think it's just like a coincidence thing, but I think that strategy does. People do kind of change their strategy, because for a while we were skipping care packages. We were like over it, because we kept dying. So for a while, I always wanted to go for them, and then you guys were like, dude, stop. And then we just stopped. We were like, let's just not go for it anymore. You know?
Yeah. I mean, then like, it's just kind of like what situation you're in. Is it like, okay, like right now we're kind of like, we know there's people around, but then there's times where you go. I think that the bigger maps, yeah, people go for them more. I think that like there's just more openness maybe. I don't know what that is. I think you're right though. I think that in the bigger map.
Yeah, I think the bigger maps because people like a lot of people are in cars and they're driving. There's more cars. People get in the car or they're driving around and they see it and they go for it. But in Sanhok, you know, it's pretty rare that you're like in a vehicle in Sanhok for an extended period of time. You know, like a lot of times you're on foot, and if you see when you're like, it's too far away for me, I'm not going to run all the way there. And then maybe that's what happens.
And typically, like, it's so fast, like the circle's moving so fast that it's like if it lands on one side, you're kind of like you can't, you know, spend that much time running out, or you know what I mean. Like it's just Sanhok is just a completely different monster than the other ones, and like I don't love Miramar at all. But I like Sanhok, but I love Erangel. I think Erangel is like the perfect battle royale map for whatever reason. Yeah. Some people don't like it because it's too big now compared to Sanhok, but I think that's what makes those maps interesting is at the size. Like you have to get in a vehicle, you have to do this. Like I think it's just different. I mean, I like Sanhok a lot.
I agree with you. That makes it really fun, and it makes it more it makes it more I don't want to say realistic because obviously we're not like on an island trying to kill each other, but it makes it more like realistic in a way. I don't know, because it's like it's so big and you're like getting in a car and you're traveling like great distances. It makes it feel like you're in a survival kind of like movie or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's also like the times of silence, like, you know what I mean, you can go so long without seeing someone. It makes it like when you start seeing people, you're like, okay, like things hit the fan like fast on Sanhok, but I feel like when you start getting into the circle, like all this, on like an Erangel, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hell breaks loose because everyone is like strapped to the tits, and like everyone's hasn't seen anybody, so everyone's like ready to shoot and play and fight, and like usually you have like 50 people in a much smaller circle, so it's just like, I guess it's relative though at the same time, because whenever you play Sanhok for a while and then you jump on like Erangel, you forget how big the map is. You're like, oh my god, you're like, I just ran across Sanhok twice.
Loot on Erangel just makes it so much more. It's frustrating as a player sometimes because you want to get the best guns, but it makes it like more. I don't know. It's like more interesting because you really are struggling to like loot and find stuff, and when you get really like excited when you find a sniper rifle or like the M24. When in Sanhok, like if we don't find those guns now, it's like pretty shocking that like we haven't found almost every gun available in the game. You know?
Yeah.
So,
because it was completely noticeable when they turned down the volume of guns in that game.
Yeah,
like it was like it's like night and day. You're like, wait a minute. Like, there used to be like 5 guns laying on top of each other. Now there's like 1 gun. And you're like, oh my god, you're like, I'm screwed now. So it's definitely noticeable for sure.
Yeah, and at the Call of Duty, what's interesting is the drops in that game are kind of interesting because you like really, like it's not as like a big event as like PUBG. I mean, like the guns you get in there are pretty sick. You get the sniper and the rocket launcher and stuff like that in Call of Duty. But I feel like if I'm not like really paying attention to it and like looking up, I like never even notice it. And the smoke is a lot less, and it's like it's not like the same thing. I'm kind of surprised because like those, it's still, and you know what I mean.
But the crates in Blackout, I've gotten crate in Blackout, and it was just a Vapor that was fully loaded. It wasn't like a different gun that falls on the map.
Oh, really?
So that was the only thing. Yeah, and I mean, maybe there are guns that don't fall on the map that I haven't discovered.
No, you're right. I don't think there is.
Which to me, it's like, why would I bother? Like, you know what I mean? So I can have a stock on this gun and maybe get a little bit more out of it. And like, the Vapor was fully loaded with a silencer. It was awesome, but it was.
You can find those. You can find those just on the ground too.
Exactly. Guns. So why would I, I'm not finding the M249 or I'm not finding the
I actually didn't know that because
the Titan.
The only 2 or 3 times I've gone to a crate, it's been the same crate. It was a sniper rifle rocket, but it must have just been a coincidence.
Yeah, it probably. I mean,
no, because I think it has changed. Because I've seen other people. I've seen other like I remember Steve was playing and he went to go get the crate. And I'm like, oh, I'll have the sniper. He's like, no, there's not a sniper in this crate. It's something else. And I think it was just a coincidence that I hit it twice.
It could just be like a Scorpion, like a fully loaded Scorpion. You're like, god damn it. Yeah. But I mean, maybe they give you some better healing ability, the shields. I don't know. Like sometimes you get like the note. There's notes in it.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what those are.
You're right. My bad. You're right. The last crate I got was the note. And it didn't have the sniper and the rocket. It came with the note and the razor wire and the barricade, and you had to put all that down for the new character. So you're right. My bad. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think I got the note and I didn't even achieve it. I was like, I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
It was like something really hard. I was like, I can't do this.
I heard that they added, and my bad to anybody listening, I haven't really been up on my game on the Call of Duty stuff because I just haven't been playing it as much, and more people on the stream and on YouTube are interested in PUBG, at least with my channel. But I heard they came out with a new patch recently for Call of Duty, and Tom was saying that they like nerfed the ICR, and I think there's new characters for Blackout now, so there's like new missions available in Blackout for I think 2 characters is what I heard, but I'm not sure.
I haven't looked into it. I mean, you follow games way more than I do. I'm pretty much just like, I find out through you what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. At the end of the day, I mean,
like,
if it's big enough, you'll hear it. But for YouTube and stuff like that, I usually post videos and stuff about it. But what I did hear recently online is that a lot of players, like YouTubers and stuff like that, because I follow a lot of them online and I watch their YouTube videos, have like they're also kind of feeling the frustration of like playing Blackout and getting killed by someone just like laying in the grass, you know what I mean? And everyone seems pretty frustrated with that. I even saw Dr. Disrespect. He's always like, cursing about Blackout and stuff. But so this one guy saying that a lot of people a lot of good players now are just really focusing on those perks, which are kind of annoying to use, but a lot of them are like getting the ones that are really kind of OP, and also dead silence, which is really strong in that, so they can move around and not make any noise. And obviously in PUBG, there's no option to get rid of your noise or add a perk. And he was saying that he's getting frustrated because like not only is Battle Royale there's a lot of luck and laying down, but now that Call of Duty's added these perks to it, if someone finds like 3 dead silences and they're running around the whole game as with dead silence, and it just gives them like this huge advantage over everybody else if everyone's a good player. And I think that's just what it is. That's how Call of Duty is. But I thought that was interesting, and I just want to hear what your opinion is. And then second, I was thinking like before Call of Duty came out, I mean Blackout, I thought it was going to be more like a free for all game, but Battle Royale style. So I was surprised that you didn't spawn with like a perk, like or create a class. Like I thought maybe they'd let you create a class and that's what you spawn in with. And there's also stuff in the environment. Also, I thought it'd be cool if they did like every 5 minutes, like a UAV went over so that people couldn't like camp in one spot the whole entire game and people would know where they were. And unless you had a perk up or something like that, maybe like you'd do it. But obviously that I'm just kind of speaking out like in fantasy land because that's not what it is, but I thought that would have been cool, or maybe like a cool event mode where they have a UAV running every 2 minutes or something, or every 5 minutes.
No, that's definitely pretty cool, because I actually, like, if you think about it, maybe if you got 2 or 3 kills and you got a UAV, or 4 kills would be a counter UAV, so everyone on the map loses their UAV or like loses their map for a while. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, or in an area, right? Like say the plane comes in like in a circle and you can pick where within like a 200 meter radius, and the UAV is going to fly in that 200 meter radius, or counter UAV in a 50 meter radius. So anybody in the 50 meter radius. I mean, I'm sure people would just abuse that stuff, but I feel like that would be a really cool addition to make it be like, this is Call of Duty's Battle Royale. It's like, to me that would be pretty unique. I don't know.
Instead of the perks almost, because I agree, like that is kind of annoying. Like I'm all about having things like how PUBG is like random, and people are like, that's not really fair if it's random, but like at the same time it's like what's not fair is like when you give someone the ability to have something that like the 3 dead silences in a row and you're stacking things. It's just like, okay, like that makes it a little bit difficult to say like, is this actually like a random thing? Because when someone gets that, which isn't probably all the time, I doubt it's all the time, I can't imagine it being, but it's just kind of like it does make it like super OP, which is kind of annoying, but that is kind of like a Call of Duty thing, I guess. So it's kind of hard to say if it's like they should change it or what they should do. I mean... Yeah,
the perk system is definitely a little awkward in that game, though, for sure.
I just don't... Yeah, because I get the perks and I barely ever use them, to be honest. And it's like...
Yeah, but some of them are like, when you get into like... When you play more, some of the... there's a couple of them that are really worth using now, for sure. But I know what you're saying. I never used them for the longest time.
Yeah, I mean, I've used the scavenger one, the one that helps you pick up, like, find loot faster. You can see their walls where loot is.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, that's like not super useful. It just like maybe saves you time while you're looting.
It just saves you time. Yeah.
The mobility one I've used. I guess that helps. I haven't seen that. Like, I haven't like noticed a huge difference. But then again, like, I feel like I don't play enough of Blackout to be like, oh, this is definitely this.
No, I still have to read. I still have to read like most of them. I don't remember like even because they have different names too. They don't follow the same. They don't follow the same perk as multiplayer.
And honestly, picking that stuff up is so annoying to me because it's like not easy to use. It's like I'm like hitting up on the D-pad and like holding this button and I accidentally drop it because it's like the opposite logical button that it would be.
Yeah, A is for anyone who hasn't played Blackout. When you're like going over an item, at least on Xbox, A is to drop the item, which A is the universal like you select that item. You know,
yeah.
And it's like
press A to start. Like, come on. I drop everything. I pretty much found it easier to drop things than to hold X to equip them because you can hit A to drop it and then hit X to equip it when it's on the ground.
Dude, I do the same thing. I just accidentally drop it and I'm like, oh, this is just faster now. It's on the ground.
And then you just tap X. Yeah, and you tap X. So you actually are spending less time by throwing it on the ground and picking it back up and onto the gun rather than just putting it on the gun.
Yeah. What's also annoying is for anybody who hasn't played PUBG or one of the other Blackout or PUBG or both maybe, but I'm guessing you guys have probably played both, is that, you know, when you play PUBG, you hit start, you see both of your guns, and if you have like an item like a scope, you just select it and you pick what gun you want it to go on, and it's a pretty good system. It wasn't like that at first, but it's very quick. It's actually, now that they've made that quick select system, it's almost faster than PC because they still have to drag it over, and on Xbox, you can just double tap A and it goes to a gun automatically, which is really fast. But then in Call of Duty, when you hit start, it only shows one of your guns. So if you want to put the scope on the second gun, you have to like hit start, scroll over to the gun, like hit a weird button. It's not just like A, you have to hit like Y, the gun like switches. Then you have to like find the item, then attach it to the gun. And then if you hit A, you drop the attachment instead of attaching it. So then you have to get out of the menu. And then it's like this whole process just to put on a scope. It's like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. This is definitely very different. I mean, and I remember when I first started playing PUBG, I was like, oh my god, there's way too many buttons here. This is dumb. I was like, how do you move over? How do you do this? And then it kind of worked out. Like, you get used to it. I'm sure if I played Blackout long enough, I would get used to it. I just think that some of the buttons they did was just like counterintuitive to even like what things are in the game. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do it this way?
Yeah, they've kind of moved away from like the like regular Call of Duty buttons too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it was just a weird, and it's just awkward. I don't know. It's like, how else do you put it? It's like weird how like I just feel like I'm like, okay, like I should just be hitting this button and I can't. I have to do this, and they made it like a mouse cursor too. It's not like just use buttons. Like, I don't have a mouse. Like, I don't want to have an icon like a mouse key on my screen. Like, I just want to hit buttons to get to where I gotta go. It's faster.
Yeah, for us console
aren't the same.
Yeah, for us console players, it's definitely faster. And
yeah,
I think that's just an issue a lot of games are struggling with. I don't want to talk about it too much, but like, you know, I bought Red Dead. I've only played a couple hours of it, and obviously, like, I was laughing because people were talking about like, oh, watch my review video of like Red Dead, or like all these people are talking about reviews. I'm like, dude, no shit, the game's like a 10 out of 10, or wow, you're gonna give it a 9 out of 10, or obviously the game's amazing. It's Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, it has amazing graphics.
It's like Grand Theft Auto. Like, when a Grand Theft Auto game comes out, does anyone in the world really need to know if it's good or not? Like, it's obviously going to be like one of the best games ever made. It's Rockstar, you know?
Yeah, and people still play, what was it, like Grand Theft Auto 5. They still play the crap out of it, dude. Like, there's still so much content for the game. People still are just like logging so many hours on that game.
And same thing with Call of Duty. A lot of people ask me about Call of Duty. I'm like, dude, I mean, I know it is a little different with specialists and there's Blackout, so that's fair to ask about. But like, at the end of the day, like, it's Call of Duty. I mean, if you played any of them, you kind of know what the next Call of Duty is like. I don't need to listen to a review about the next Call of Duty, you know. But I still do. Getting. I'm kind of just trolling here. But anyways, but the point of it was that the Red Dead controls are garbage. I mean, if someone tells you that they're not, like, I think they're straight up lying to you. The controls are really bad. And I know I've only played it for 2 hours, so like maybe I'm being just a little bit of a baby, but. They're like not intuitive at all. Like, B is reload. Like, the buttons are just any button that you know in your life that like X is reload, A is do this, Y is do this. Like, it's not that. And then B is also punch. So like sometimes I'm going to reload and then like I punch my horse. I'm like, dude, what is like? I think they're running out of buttons on controllers, or you know. So it's like I'm sure it's hard for them too because games are getting so complicated that. They're just like having a hard time. And obviously a mouse and keyboard gives them like infinite options because there's so many keys that each thing could be a key, you know?
I agree. I think that's really probably their, like, how do we make all these buttons like how do we add all these options to do things and like make it like more, you can do more, which people want, but we only have 10 buttons or whatever it is. So it's like, yeah, what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
but it is what it is, I guess, until the mouse and keyboard come to Xbox, and all of us controller players are kind of gonna die.
yeah. I mean, it already is, man. They came out with that adapter now, and then I think I had made a video about it that like Xbox completely announced like, oh, I mean, I remember I think I posted it on my Instagram. Me and you talked about it, about how
we definitely talked. Yeah, we talked about it.
that they basically, Microsoft came out and just said like, hey, this is what we're doing, and it's up to each game. And people are like, really, when I go on like PUBG forums and stuff like that on the Reddit, people are like really if they think you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, they like will go after you. They get really mad. They think it's like cheating, which I guess I don't know if I can call it cheating, but it is really unfair. If you're really good at playing mouse and keyboard and you go to Xbox, it's definitely not fair.
100%, because you're not using. There's no aim assist, which is a reason why aim assist exists, is for consoles, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you have a mouse, it's so accurate. Like when you watch people play PUBG on PC, they're just like click, and people are dead.
Yeah, it's so hard on
console. You're sweeping around, you're moving all around. It's hard to compensate for things.
Yeah,
it's definitely different.
The melee is impossible without auto aim. Did you see the video, that clown video I had? I could not hit that guy.
Yeah,
I chased him for 3 minutes, and I couldn't hit him with the machete.
It's such. I mean, PUBG also has that's a weird PUBG problem too. But it's just like it's so different. You couldn't do it, and I think like the one thing is that why would you want to play with a mouse and keyboard on an Xbox One? You might as well just get a PC. I mean, or if you already have a PC, why are you going to start playing on Xbox One with a mouse and keyboard? Like, I mean, you can easily play PUBG on a PC. The graphics aren't that intense on that game that, like, you need a high-end PC to play it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some people just want to... I think they, like... I've heard a couple different things. Someone came in my stream and said that they just thought the Xbox, they couldn't get a computer for $500 that was as good as the Xbox, which maybe is true, but you're right. You could probably you could probably build a budget PC that played the game, poor quality, but like the graphics aren't that amazing for PUBG on PC either. So
no, it's not that intense. So, I mean, and that's true. The Xbox One X is really powerful, but at the same time, it's like you still don't have the same, like even PC just at least has like more stuff in it, more content right now than Xbox does.
You're right. It really doesn't make sense. It's really just if you want to, like, if you're just trolling or you're practicing or you want to beat up on people because you're like good, I guess, at using a mouse and keyboard.
I get. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was good at using mouse and keyboard, and I want to do it more. It's just that it's like I'm not gonna go play on PC when all my friends are on Xbox. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it's like it's stupid.
Well, now that training mode is on both platforms, like I was thinking like I could probably go into because I have PC. Oh, you have PC too. Since we have PC, like we could go into training mode and like practice using a mouse and keyboard instead of having to go into the game and get like lit up. But again, right, you're right. Like everyone's on Xbox, so it's like
I should do that for sure though. Yeah, but everyone's still on Xbox, and it's just like it's also like a social event. So you kind of like go wherever your friends go. Like if everyone got PS4, as much as I would hate it, I would have gotten PS4.
Same. If everyone, totally. I definitely agree with that. But for now, it's still Xbox. I feel like it would take so long to get over to mouse and keyboard. I just
don't have the dexterity in my hands. I feel like I'm just like too old, I guess. So
yeah,
it kind of sucks.
I know we're getting too old for it.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's okay. Hopefully, when it comes out, maybe it won't be as bad as we think, or they'll just nix it. But whatever, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess with that, I mean, I guess we can end it here. I mean, we pretty much covered what we wanted to cover. We did a little intro over our Xbox gamer tags. Andrew Sypher 5 and me, obviously BLiTz 5, Ray, and PUBG, little Call of Duty, little blackout action. What's going on with that, right?
I think we did everything we had planned to do. It wasn't bad.
No.
I think I'm glad we got started here. I think like if maybe you should give everyone your Twitter and everything, and if people have some cool gamer tag stories, like how they came up with their gamer tag, they should tweet it at you, and we can read it anonymously if they want on the next one when we do this.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. If you guys have any cool stories or you have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, definitely just, find me on stream or follow me on any social media platform at BLiTz5. Twitter is definitely probably the best way to communicate via like text or on the Xbox dashboard. I'll link all that stuff down in the description box. The first place that this video is going to go is on YouTube, or this audio. And then from there, we'll figure it out. We can do SoundCloud, and then eventually if we really keep running with this stuff, which I think we're going to, we can hook all this stuff up to like the traditional podcast platforms, but you have to kind of wait for all that stuff to set up. We'd have to do more episodes to do that first. But, Andrew and I have been talking about this for a little while, and I think it's nice to, add a little podcast into it. We're always talking about games anyways. And, that's why everyone loves games and watches the streams. And that's why we're all gamers. We game and then you talk about games. It's just like a community thing. So I think the podcast is a great idea. We've floated around some names for it. So eventually we'll name the podcast. And I think this was a great first episode to start out with.
No, me too, 100%. I think it was I'm glad we finally got to do it. We talked about it for a while, so
yeah.
And I think there's just a ton more we could always talk about.
For sure, there's always something going on, and we gotta get Sypher 5 famous, and then get an account, Twitter account. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't even really have Twitter. I just usually use my Twitter of all 3 followers to tweet at Brendan Green about how crappy PUBG is working that day. So if you ever want to see someone angrily tweeting at Brendan Green with no followers, you can follow me on Twitter, which I don't even know my Twitter right now off the top of my head. So don't worry about it.
All right.
And I'm only tweeting Brendan Green. So.
All right. So I guess we'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. As always, like I said, you guys can follow me on those platforms, YouTube page, the stream during the week, and hopefully we'll continue on. So take it easy, everybody.
Thanks, guys.